found The Naked Truth. Lively discussions about business, marketing, and personal development for small business owners. No hype, just help.
Wednesday is all about you here in The Naked Truth. The first thing we want to find out is whether or not Paul Ramsey baked cookies last night.
All right, so I didn't bake cookies last night, but I had a good reason. I'm gonna bake. Here's the other thing, Crizel, if you're watching, you gotta send me your address. You didn't send me your address. I tried to reach. I gotta get the address. So I kept holding off, so I didn't want to bake them and have them go old before I knew I could ship them. So I'm waiting, but I'm like, all right, I'm baking them tonight. I'm gonna hound her and get it, and we'll get them out tomorrow.
And if you're wondering why we're talking about cookies, is because of this. Every time you engage with us, you talk to us, you comment, you share, you're getting on the wheel of names, and we are going to reward you for that. So today Wednesday is all about, Paul, what is it about?
Hump day.
Hump
Oh, wait,
day.
that's not what you really meant. We help you get over the hump. That's our day. We want to help. And we're glad we have Natalie here. We're going to talk about, look, if we're not talking about real, like there's enough a-holes out there talking about like theoretical concepts, right? Like, let's talk about how to really get your business to a different place. Let's talk about concrete examples. I'm tired of talking about ideas that like might work.
Yeah. So this is completely about you guys, and the way that you get here in the show to talk about stuff that matters to you is basically you go to our website right here where it says Ask and Win, and you just comment, just put your questions. So we have a question from Rajesh who watched us this week, so we're going to take that next week. But just put your questions here, and Natalie is here. So Natalie's question is, the first one was, I admit I have a shiny object syndrome. I would love to have passive income business. So I have a few MLMs I'm a member of. I have a health-based Facebook group, and I own real estate business. I'm just not sure what to use for the passive income I'm searching for. Any advice? And from what I'm understanding, it is best to move your activities, i.e. video, content, photos to your own website, and also landing pages, opt-in, thank yous to collect email and phone numbers, and then communicate to your audience through mass email text messages. I appreciate your confirmation and knowledge. So this is what we're talking about today with Natalie. If you want to be part of the conversation, that's the link. So, hey Natalie, how are you? Welcome to our show.
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so super cool that you you hopped in and we can talk about this. And you were saying that you know real estate like the back of your hand, and you're looking for some passive income. And right. What do you have in place right now?
So currently I own my own little brokerage. I have a rental property in another state that we use as a executive housing and an Airbnb or VRBO in between. That is passive income. I have a couple of network marketing companies that I am a member of. I'm not, I tried to do that as a sole business alongside of my real estate business, and I couldn't get it to go. And then I in addition, just to keep the doors open, and insurance in my world, I also have a full-time job on top of everything.
So 3 businesses or 4 businesses and a full-time job.
Yeah.
And a grandma.
And a grandma. I'm a grandma, and I'm a wife and a mom, and I actually do have a life.
Yeah.
In addition to with all that stuff. But what I'm finding is that I have to sacrifice something, whether it be my family life, my time at night, my weekends. And again, I would like, we have, we like to retire in 10 or 15 years at the most.
Wow.
And I just don't see how that's going to be possible. And if it's not, I'm good with that. but I just want to be prepared to have something a little more easier on me as we go.
Yeah. So the first thing that I always ask when, when we're strategizing like this is, what do you want to make, right? Like, what's your ideal monthly income?
My monthly income to keep us stable is like $5,000 a month.
Okay, so we basically need to make you $5,000 a month for you to feel like you can retire and you're good and everything's fine, right?
Yeah, I'd love more, but I think that's a reasonable amount to live on. Yes.
Right, and
But
so
60
we
grand
walk
a
in
year.
reverse,
And that's-
right?
Pardon?
So we walk in reverse. So if we want $5,000,
Right.
right? What do we have right now that we can use to give us $5,000? For example, if we have 100 people paying us $50 a month, right? That's $5,000. If we have
Right.
2 people paying us $2,500 a month, that's $5,000, right? So now we need to figure out, okay, now that we know what we want, then what do we have that we love to do, right? So it's not like that we love to do that is easy for us, because most time what's easy for you is hard for someone else, and they're very happy to pay you for the value that you bring.
Right.
And so let's find out with the stuff that you do have control over, because MLM is kind of like, I love the system, it's great for mentoring, it's not your business, right? Like,
Right. It's not my business. It's not my platform. It could go away anytime.
Yep.
Again, it's like building your business on different platforms. It can disappear.
it can disappear.
And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of in the back of my mind constantly.
So what attracted you to the MLM? Like, why are you in there?
I like the community. I like the personal development part of it, and I also like, well, the products that I am involved in, I really do like. But I like the fact that there's a way to make a passive income, right?
Okay.
You build your downline, people buy products from you, you get paid. That's kind of cool.
Right. Okay.
And if you look at real estate, every time you finish a real estate transaction, you start all over again.
Right.
Every time you start again. It's not like people buy houses every week.
Right.
You know, if I'm lucky, they move houses every 5 years, and I do stay in contact with my past clients, so that helps.
Yeah.
But it's not something that is a frequent, you know, they're not frequent purchasers, right? So a consumable item was kind of nice. That's what I liked about MLM.
Okay, so we're talking 2 things. We're talking, you love the community, you like the idea of the recurring income, and you like selling products that are consumables that can
Right.
and then on the side, you enjoy doing real estate. So that can be like something that adds to your monthly income, but you're not relying on it for day-to-day life, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Right. It's inconsistent. It's an inconsistent product,
yeah,
right?
yeah, which is really interesting because you're kind of like breaking the myths for a lot of people about real estate. Like, just go into real estate and you make a little, and you retire.
Yeah, that would be really nice. It would be really nice, but it's not a truth, right? And it's a really expensive business to be in. Overall, there's a lot of fees and a lot of things that people don't even know about when they get in.
So how
And
many
you have-
people come to you with that question, where they're coming to you and they're going like, Natalie, you know a lot about real estate. That's how you make your money. I want to start. What do I do? How many people come to you with that question?
I get at least, I'm going to say 3 a year that
Okay.
come and they're like, I'm going to get my real estate license. I want in. And so then I'm a kind of where the rubber meets the road kind of person. So I give them all of the fees that I pay every year and what classes I have to take, because you have to take continuing education. And I get to renew my license every other year on my birthday, you know?
Yeah. So I'm just
That's like-
wondering, is there a resource out there or a community for someone who's just starting out to know everything that you know?
I don't know.
So that would
I
be a good
haven't
place
done
to
that.
look, right? Because
Right.
because if you can monetize your knowledge, there's a few fantastic things there. One, it sounds like you really, really love communities. So starting your own community, in Telegram, wherever, on your own website, where people pay you $50 a month. So we'll need about 100 people, right? Not that bad. You can get 2 a month. You're kind of good, right? Well, a little more. And you have referrals and stuff. But with Facebook ads or with like content or reaching out to people or reaching out to your clients and saying like, hey, I will help you with all the questions that you have. For 50 bucks a month, you can come in once a week. You can pick my brain. You have other people to walk with. So you save on all the mistakes that I've made. And I'm sure there are products out there for realtors that you can actually be an affiliate for and kind of like supplement your income. So maybe the first step is to actually just find out, like do a little bit of market research and find out like, how does that feel for you? Like having your own little.
Yeah. And that kind of was an inspiring thing when we talked last week. I don't remember his name, the real estate.
Gary Boomshire.
Yeah, that you interviewed, and his products are amazing.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my husband about that same thing. I'm like, well, I could have a group, and I could, I don't want to do it on Facebook, so
Right.
I've got to figure out how to do it on my own website and reconfigure my website. And since I do know
the first step, like the easiest way to do that before you go and spend thousands of dollars on building a community on your site, there are a few super, super easy ways of doing that. So Telegram is one. You can have a group there. The other one is Mighty Network. People use that for community. It's not yours, but it's not Facebook. And it's super cheap. I think it's like, I don't know, Mighty Networks is $10 a month, $20 a month, something like that. And it also have like a free version. So I'll share my screen. There you go. So you got a free plan. And so the beauty of that is that you can start it for free, validate the concept, right? Like make sure that you have people coming in, they are paying you, they are interested in this. Once you validate the concept, then you can be like, okay, now let me move it to my own website. But a lot of people, they first build all that stuff and now they try to cover their expenses and, like your thing. So market research to find out how many people, like what's out there, right? Like, are there programs that want to deliver what you want to deliver? And if they are, what can you do better? Because sometimes being second is better, right? Like second base, because you're learning, right? So find out whether there are programs or communities out there for realtors. We already know from Grant Cardone that there's tons of people interested in this, right? Like Grant Cardone has millions of people following him of how to make money with real estate and selling and all that stuff. So you have a market. Just finding what solutions are there for the market and what specifically they struggle with. And one of the easiest ways, pick up the phone to your guys, those people who ask you every day and be like, hey, have you tried to find it online? Have you found anything? What are you really struggling with? And getting their wording and then using their wording on Mighty Network, for example, or your splash page. Right? And then just starting to share that with people.
Okay.
And then it's just by building a small group first, 10, 15 people, right? You're the founding fathers and you test with them how things working, right? You don't have to create content unless there's no content that's out there. And the content that you can create will be your recording, your weekly recording, right? So it's more valuable to people to be able to pick your brain and go like, hey, I found this property, what do you think about it? Then go watch a video and try to figure out on your own whether or not this property is good for you or not.
Right.
And so that way you can kind of like monetize your passion, which is real estate, with a community that you love, because you love to be connected to people, with affiliate marketing and sending to other people information. And then there are probably tons of products that, fit with real estate.
Right.
Things. So you can combine everything, kind of like your own little e-commerce learning community. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. It does help. And like I was toying with that idea over the weekend, thinking how could I do that? Do I, do a once a week Q&A or interviews with title and lenders and
Right.
fellow realtors, right? What's the temperature of the market right now, right?
Yeah.
Because that's usually what people ask. What's the market doing,
Right.
right?
I think a
And
combination, right? It doesn't have to be either or. It can be a
right,
combination of things. But it's always like, what does your community want? So asking the community rather going like, hey, let's do this thing, right? Like, hey, what do you need more of? And you'll find that most people really want the connection. That's what they're coming for that personal connection and doing this with someone, not being alone on the journey, not making mistakes, especially with real estate
right,
because it's costly, right?
yeah,
So connecting them to each other and having them work on things together and actually doing stuff rather than just consuming, right? Is
right,
more valuable than just, hey, listen to me talk to this person.
right. And how? So are just for curiosity, are we gearing towards realtors and new realtors? Are we dealing towards consumers, buyers, sellers, or could it be a combination of
It can be
both?
both. It can be both. You can have different levels in a group, right? You can have different forums inside your community.
Okay.
The way Frank Kern is running his community, his group, is also on Mighty Networks, and he has different groups. So you have different access to different groups based on your level
Okay.
and what you opt in. So you can have level one, right? You're just starting out, and once you're seasoned, you can upgrade to level two, which that's where we do the real builds, right? So you can kind of like create an aspiration to continue and increase the retention of people in the group.
Okay.
The cool thing, Natalie, is that you don't have to figure it all out on your own just when you're starting. You just have to start and always
Right.
like, create your little family, right? Like, hey, these are the people that we're starting out with. What do you guys want? Let's build it so that it benefits you, right? And then slowly you can grow. So even if you
Yeah.
started with 10 people, right? And then you go like, hey, we're having a referral competition, right? So for every 3 people that you refer, you get XYZ, right?
Right.
You get
When
to
you
talk to
do
me.
a community like that and you charge for it,
Yep.
it's exclusive, one. And number two, I guess what's the incentive to buy in, for lack of a better word?
So in my mind, it's always it's connection over content. That's what
Okay.
I feel people need. Um, and you know that this is true because people come to you and ask you questions, right? So it's not like you can't find, like just Google, all the answers are already out there. Google them. The problem is we don't know how to interpret, right? We don't have a specific answer to our specific situation. And we don't know how, and we don't want to be wrong, right? Like that is the biggest thing. Like I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to buy the wrong house, right? I don't want to get into the wrong deal. I don't, these are things that only someone with like tons of experience can help you with. Right. So really the value is like you can spend the next 5 years learning everything that I've learned, make your own mistakes, read on Google, get your licensing and all that stuff. Or you can come here and for $50 a month, you get my undivided attention. And not only that, you get peers for the journey. So you're not alone. So you know what other people are doing, what's happening in other markets, right? So if you if you build a community around the community, right? Not
Right.
just around the topic, then it's kind of like a little mastermind, if you will, right? People come for the other people in the group.
Right. For their knowledge and their experience and whatever it is. Okay.
But just not doing it
Yeah.
alone. Like, how lonely is it? Like for you, how lonely is it?
Oh, it's very lonely because it's
Yeah.
just me and another agent, right?
Yeah.
So I have a small business, right?
Yeah.
So, but I guess my other question or my thought on this is when you put people in a group like that, let's say that they are, let's say they're buyers and sellers or buyers and or sellers. Do you feel, or would it, I'd have to put it in a position where they don't feel like they're being competitive because this is a competitive market. And then if I put another realtor in there, then it puts competition in a weird place. So I really need to sit down and figure out content wise or kind of the basis, what that looks like and what that feels like, because it could be uncomfortable. Does that make sense? It's like putting somebody that is your competitor into your group and allowing, people to pick their brains. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mindset thing, and that's where Paul is way better than I am. When we started with Google Plus, all of us were geeks just trying to figure out the system, and every person wanted to become the guru in a way, right? But because we started with no gurus, then it was all collaboration and not competition.
Right.
It becomes competition when one person in the community stops sharing, starts stealing, right? Start acting in ways that is not very cooperative. So that will
Right.
be your job as the person who goes like, look, this is a community of peers and we're here to support each other, and you really focus on people helping each other, and that will be the spirit of the community, right? And one time someone comes in and becomes like an a-hole, you go like, okay, you're out, right?
Right.
And you decide, like, this is your baby, so you decide what it looks like. And there are many places where people come in, there's tons of masterminds where it's masterminds just for marketers. So everybody's a marketer, right?
Right.
Or everybody's a realtor. There's a group, there's a mastermind, I believe, just for people. I need to remember what it was. Just for people who buying and selling real estate. It's about $25,000 a year. They're all investors, they're all realtors, and they all come together and they're all talking about the same thing, right?
Right. But they're all buying and selling, and they're, hey, I've got this apartment complex for sale, and I got this thing, right? So that's more of a connecting those pieces.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they're just
I'll just
realtors.
have to pencil it out and kind of diagram it and to kind of see how, where there could be conflict and avoid, or be able to look at that up front. Yes? No?
So you might even be putting the carriage before
Sure.
in front of the horse, right? Like you don't know who's going to be in there, you don't know what they're but it's up to you to decide these are the rules, right? Like we share, we contribute, and you model behavior for them, and you acknowledge those who are sharing, and you're celebrating them, and you're rewarding them for being like this. So then everybody else will follow suit.
Right.
And I think a lot of people would love to be in a community where people are supporting each other and not competing with each other. So that might be a really big draw for you.
Right. Okay.
Paul, what do you say?
I would have. This is what I love about having this show with Ifat is we look at things really differently.
Yeah.
I would have started from a very different place from the entire beginning point. I would have said to Natalie, do less so you can do better, and I would have totally, instead of going down the path you went down, Ifat, I would have said, why are you spinning 5 different plates and sending your attention in 5 different directions?
Well, we did choose one direction, real estate community, right? So
well, you chose it, but she's not, you chose to focus on it for the purpose of this conversation. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, I would say to Natalie, like, something should go, because what's happening and what I have found, and this is what I talk to my people in my small business mentorship about all the time, is when you're trying to do something and it's not generating the revenue you want, one of the most common things that small business owners do is they find a way to add a revenue stream because they hope that adding a different revenue stream is going to make up for it. But they don't perform any better in that next revenue stream than they performed in the first revenue stream. And so then they add a third revenue stream, and it just keep repeating the same problem. The next thing you know, you've got 4 revenue streams or 5 revenue streams, right? You got 2 MLMs and then you're like, and none of it is still, you go, all right, so you have 3 times as many revenue streams as you used to have or whatever, and you're still not where you want on your monthly income. Then I'm like, how about you go back to the one revenue stream that you feel the most joy and passion in doing, and figure out how to do it at a level of competency that exceeds anything you've ever done it at before. Which is not to say in any way, Natalie, that I'm saying you're incompetent. I'm just saying level up. Like, how do you level up, right? And when you find that way to level up, then that's when things really start getting better. So that would have, and then I would have been like, so what is it? So first of all, which one is it? right? She said real estate for the purpose of the conversation. I'm like, what is it? Like, or is it just what feels like the easiest choice to make right now? Like, I don't know, because I don't know Natalie, at all. We've only talked a few times.
Right. And real estate, to your point, real estate is the easiest
Yeah.
target, right? I enjoy helping people with nutrition and that lifestyle. I helped my son recover from a horrible autoimmune disease a couple of years ago. He almost died. And we found a program and a way to level him up where he didn't have to have surgery. He has Crohn's.
Yep.
And he is a thriving, energetic, healthy young man now without any surgery, right? And so that I can talk about forever too. And so that's kind of where all these different things kind of came into play. I started a Facebook page called the Smart Health Project because I wanted to help people with their health. But again, things happen where it's like, I don't know how to monetize it enough or how to get there to do that.
So in this is the classic thing, Natalie. This is what I see all the time. What happens is you have good ideas. They're all good ideas. That doesn't mean you should actually be doing anything with them.
Fair enough.
Right? Like,
I agree.
Right?
Thank you.
That's the challenge. Yeah.
Right. And I guess it's one of those things where it's nice to talk to individuals that don't have a skin in the game, right? Because if you go with an MLM and you talk to anyone about that, they're like, well, we're going to get you all in, and because it benefits them.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds negative, but in all actuality, they want to help you because it helps them. Right. And I get it. And so, and I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel schmarmy. I don't want to feel salesy. And so that's how I've built my real estate business. I just, hey, if you like this house, great. Let's do the paperwork. If you don't, fine, we'll move on. It's not about me. It's about them. And same with this health thing, right? It's about them.
Right.
But again, I know a ton of information that other people don't know, but I love giving that information away for free, mind you. But there's a point where it's like, how am I going to make a living if I keep giving everything away for free?
Right. It's good that you have that awareness. Yeah.
But yeah. And so that's kind of where I am. And that's why I enjoyed talking to you guys, because you're totally disconnected from any of my businesses. And you can look at it with a different perspective and say, again, why are you spinning so many plates? Right. And I appreciate that, because my husband says it and I say it to myself. Why am I doing this? And I know why. I just don't know how to pare them down or get rid of them or what to focus on. I really don't.
So I would say, I know, Paul, you're like, fine. So I would say, whatever you feel like whatever you would do for free, right? Because it's going to be a long journey, right? And you will need to stick it out and things will happen. And if you love it, then you're going to stick with it. But if you're like, right, and then it's just going to be, well, this doesn't work, let me try something else. So Taki Moore, who is a coach for coaches, which I love, he says, focus on one thing, one market, one thing for one market for 1 year. That's it, right? Build that market. So one thing. So either it's the health or it's the real estate, whichever you feel more compelled to, right? Just focus on that one thing for 1 year. And you can decide how you want it to be. So you can decide, I want to create, I just want to create lead magnets, right? I just want to sell information. I don't want to have a community. Or you can decide, I want to have a community. Or you can decide, I want to have a program and a coaching program, right? Like, you have many ways to that you can take it. And I think it always boils down to, what do you love to do? Some people don't like to talk to other people, right? They just want to be like, let me just sell you stuff and don't ever talk to me. some people are getting energized from this kind of an exchange, right? You're the only one who knows what you love. So what do you love?
Right. And to be totally honest, I went the health route because I was tired of starting over in real estate every time a transaction ended. I mean, it literally is just you start over every time something closes. Yeah, the money's great, but you don't know when your next check's coming in. There's no predictability. It's again, unpredictable, predictability, unpredictable, predictably unpredictable. So that's kind of why I was going the other route. Online marketing with the health, because I do have a lot of information that people do need out there, and I don't mind sharing it for free.
So do you feel like you can, how big is your community for that?
Well, I've got groups now because of Facebook, doing their group thing. So I have, I think 3,000 people. I don't have a ton.
3,000 is great.
Good number though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, big number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So if you already have 3,000 people who are talking about this, go to these people and find out what it is that they're missing. And then just say, if I provide this thing, would you be interested? And find out, like, do a little survey. You got 3,000 people, right? So if you sell something again for $50 to 100 people in that 3,000, right?
Right.
So finding out, and then you don't have to create that $50 product. You can have affiliates if you don't want to create anything for them. But maybe what they need is a community, or maybe what they need is something else that you don't know. So ask them. If you have 3,000 people, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I built that over the last couple of years through a couple of their companies that I've been following for attraction marketing, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, it's like, all right, so I'm just talking on Facebook, just kind of getting exposure and not selling anything and not just giving information or telling them about my day or I had, whatever. And I do shoot them to groups for specific things, but managing groups, like you guys have said in the past, it's a lot of work. I mean, it's like, I got a video in here and I got a video over there and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And, trying to manage that and trying to do it consistently is a lot of work. And I'm impressed that you guys are on every day.
I blame Paul for that.
I just drink the rest of the day, so it's not a big deal.
It's just an hour a day. It's all good.
Actually, it's 30. We're out of there. But I think, so if you already have 3,000 people in a community, I would say try to monetize that first, because you already have a pretty good base, right? Of people who are interested, and they can refer you to other people. So spend this week just talking to people there one-on-one, right? Like Facebook message them and just have conversation. Just try to figure out what it is that they like, what attracted them to the community. Are they engaged? They're not engaged? What are they looking for? What did they try? What it's missing? Right? Just have conversation. By the end of the week, you'll be way smarter about how to monetize it. And you never know, like some of these people might be like, how do I pay her back? I wish she sells me something. So I feel like, I'm giving back to what she's given me. Right?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So spend a week, ask people in the community why they're there. And if you love real estate and if you want to dive into that, do some market research and figure that out. And it sounds like MLM is going. MLM is going to go.
Yeah, MLM is going to go. I'll just use their products and just be a super user. Yeah. Right. It's a hard gig.
Right.
I have friends that are making really good money in it, but But
they're working it, right? That's the
their
person I've
job.
ever met that does well at MLM. They're working it. They never get to a point where they go, all right, I've got this great downline and now I can just sit back and let the money flow in. They're constantly working it.
It's a business.
That's business, right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's any business. But you can't, it's a full-time business and that's what they're doing. They're working their business full time. Right. And to be a part-time anything is just you get a part-time result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
So I
that.
would love for you to come back, maybe 2 weeks from now and let us know how that's going. We can follow
All
up
right.
with a little homework, right? A little accountability.
Homework. Well, yeah, I think those are great ideas because I never thought to ask what they wanted. What do they want out of my site, right? What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
Because there's polls I can run out there and talk to people and yeah, see what is drawing them, right? Because I've done some challenges. I've done some 7-day sugar detoxes and people engage, and I've done a water fast thing, and I've done a 90-day nutrition program.
Wow.
So I've done those things, and people get engaged and they come in and they do them. But I guess I just haven't gone another step, right?
So that sounds kind of like, one of the mental shifts that I had to do with like, wow, charging people, right? That's like a mental shift where you're like, okay, well, I've been giving everything for free. If I charge them now, they're going to hate me. And I'm going to lose half of them, right? And all that stuff. Like there's a lot of like back talk in your head of like, am I going to be that salesy person that now all of a sudden offers them, buy my shit. Right? But so,
Right.
so you need to decide, right? Is it a hobby or is it a business?
Right.
Right. And if
And that's
you do
what
it just
on our Facebook feed, Peggy wrote, do your doctors, attorneys, or other professionals give their knowledge away? And yeah, they do. The reality is they do. Like if you really ask them, there's times where they do give it away. But her point that I get she's making, that I get is, you don't just walk in all the time to like professional offices and get the highest skill set from them for nothing, right? Like, and so when you've amassed real expertise and real knowledge, and you have a long experience in a profession, like, you don't just have to give it all away. Like you can have a point, but so there's got to be a structure. And that's, I think, the thing that you're articulating to us is that you don't have a clear structure for what you do feel comfortable giving away and what you go, nah, that's the part that we need to work something out.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, where do you draw the line as to when you stop giving your information away for free? I mean,
Yeah.
People could sit and talk to me for hours about real estate, and it's just like, all right, now you have everything. Now you have all the knowledge I have. Go ahead.
My broad answer to that would be start really looking at how you have those interactions with people and think about the difference between answering a question and solving a problem. Because they really are two different things, right? So it's very easy to just answer a question for someone. And we don't have to charge someone for every time we answer a question. But if when someone asks you something, what they're really asking for you to do is solve a problem for them, to me, that's a more likely scenario in which you should be getting, like, then in solving the problem, you're providing a service. Right.
Okay.
And so if you're like, there are times when we serve from the goodness of our heart and passionately for other human beings, of course. But that's, I think, one way to start getting a sense of delineation is you go like, if I sit and I don't just answer a question for you. If I spend 30 minutes answering 15 questions from you that are really on an arc that get you from, I have this problem to, oh, now I feel like there's a potential solution, then I really just provided you with a service, and I probably ought to be getting paid for that.
And then, so how do you do that? Right. It's like, okay, well, that's a consultation fee, and we
right.
can
So you have to get better at detecting it ahead of time, so you don't think about it after the fact. And what you really want to do is you want to get better at noticing. You think about all the times you've ever done that for people. Where are the trends? What are the most common problems that these people have? Because that's when you finally wrap your head around, you know what I really do? I consistently solve this problem for people over and over and over again. I'm really good at that. And that's where you can then go, so clearly I'm attracting these people that have this problem, and I have the knowledge, the skills, the expertise, and the experience to help them get it solved. And so that's probably something I'd go, seems like there's a product or a service there, and maybe I ought to officially build it and, put it out there.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good way to look at it, because I just answer questions, right?
Yeah.
I spend lots of hours.
It's a mind shift. Yeah, it's definitely a mind shift from like, hey, I'm just being a good friend to like, no, this is a business and this is consultation and this is how you know. There's a great
Yeah.
book. I interviewed a lady back in Google Plus. She wrote a book, No, You Can't Pick My Brain. And she goes like, it took me 10 years to get the knowledge that, you know, that I have, and you can't just buy me lunch and get access to it. Adrienne something. So it's a great book. I interviewed her. You can probably find that interview somewhere. But I'm like, I want to buy like a few of them. And every time someone goes like, hey, can I ask you something? I'm like, here's a gift for you.
Exactly, because that's what happens, right?
Right? Yeah.
Is, hey, I notice you have the knowledge. Let me ask
Yeah.
you questions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then it's like a half an hour
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you have to have a self-regulatory structure, of like, all right, I'll answer the first one. And then on the second one, I go, since you really clearly have an interest in this, what you really ought to do is come into my mentorship program and
Bum,
And
bum,
move
bum.
But you have to have that all. You have to have that all figured out before that happens.
no, you don't have to have it all figured out. I'm doing one right now that I saw the need and I'm building it as I go still.
Okay.
Like you have to have sort of a broad perspective of like what you're going to accomplish with people, but I keep building it as we go,
Okay.
and they're loving it. They're totally loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your homework, Natalie, is go find out what it is that people need from you, right? Figure out your
Sure.
little structure, and we'll follow up to see how that works.
All right.
So I love that you
I
came
will.
for our Wednesday over the hump day. Hump day. And we got a few more names on our wheel: Tom Nicoli and Peggy and Rosa. So we're gonna
Nice.
spin that Friday. But until then, tomorrow we are talking about the ugly truth behind live streaming. So if you've seen the ads of, hey, all you have to do to make millions from live streaming is buy my course and get this camera, and now you got everything done, like this person, tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Stephanie Liu, who's one of my favorite broadcasters out there. And we're just gonna tell you everything that happens behind the lens in our show, I'm That Geek. So if you're interested, same time, 11 a.m., I'm That Geek. 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here. Come on in, have conversation. If you're thinking about live streaming, we're wondering what to do, kind of see what the pros are doing, hop on in, and we'll do that. And today, maybe Paul is going to bake some cookies.
I'm going to bake some cookies tonight. I'm telling you.
Telling you, cookies. Until then, bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, come back and spend more time with us. You could be on the broadcast sharing your thoughts. We hang out live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern at www.bethenakedtruth.com/live.